Well, hello there again to you, you faithful viewer, singular. Actually, I am so glad that folks are watching vids that I do, and it just kind of makes it feel like, well, I'm glad that somebody hears this, and you're sure welcome to drop in any old time. Short talk in the park with you know who, the old fart, the old guy, I say. Yeah, so today, by golly, I just wanted to kind of chit chat a little bit about some plumbing stuff. Ugh. I this is a Monday. By golly, was it a Monday? I was kind of chasing my tail around for about the first 3 hours this morning, just trying to figure out which way we were going. And it started out with me going to go fix a shower drip on a leak underneath a house where you can crawl in. So I crawled in there and I went, who's the idiot that did this? So the P trap arm is sloping off at about 10 degrees. I mean, it's just running like crazy. It's the wrong size, inch and a half, and they just kind of cram bammed it right up into the shower drain. And I thought, oh, that's nice work. So I said, well, Marty, turn on the water, and I want to see where it's leaking here. And I said, well, it looks dry, looks dry, looks dry. So I thought, well, I can see where there's water been here before, but where's it coming from? So I said, turn on the shower full tilt, Marty. And the darn thing, it began to leak. Like, here's the drain right here, over here, 15 inches away, coming out of the wood. The water's dripping out of the wood. And I thought, oh, it's not a plumbing problem. It's a tile guy problem. I went up and took a good look at the shower pan, and I don't know that they did this, but on a typical subfloor, we have a wooden floor. You don't just stick the tiles to the floor and call her good. There's a way to build a shower pan, and it involves a vinyl pan. You fold it in, and it catches the water and prevents water from getting out of the shower pan. I mean, underneath. So as far as I can tell, there is no vinyl in there. And I talked to the guy who's the maintenance dude there, and I said, hey man, whoever did this shower did a really weird job. I said, this whole thing's got to come out. The tile has to come out all the way down to the wood and start over. And I'm hoping that door doesn't blow open. Oh, by the way, the winds showed up, in case you were wondering. I should have gone outside and done one of those muffle videos where you kind of go, I can't hear a word you're saying. Gosh, we are up behind what's called A Mountain. We were coming back down as just this huge brown cloud had just covered the whole city. I thought, now that would be a tourist attraction right there. I think we should publish photos of Las Cruces this time of year, and in order to keep people out of here. This place is growing too fast. I don't like big cities. But anyhow, that's the way the day began. Then we went back up to the restaurant to take a look at those water heaters to make sure that the list that I had the other day was correct. We inspected some of the water heaters that are down there at the plumbing warehouse to see what else I need to bring that isn't popping into my brain right here. Because we're going to be in there. It's going to be like 3 in the morning when we're trying to get this stuff installed, and we're not going to have a plumbing warehouse to peruse. And so I was thinking we got to get this list right, and so we placed an order, and then we had another call. Now the other call, this one was a weirdo. It was a radiant system in the floor, which by the way the homeowner never uses, but we're going to fix it anyhow. And oh boy, it's a mess. Those darn tubes are in there like minus 2.5, 3 inches, and we found them with the jackhammer. Found another with the jackhammer. Found a third one with the jackhammer. I said, Marty, come on, we got to quit hitting tubes, man. We were sent here to fix one of them. Now we got 3. And so I'm not even sure I know how to fix this. I was looking at it and kind of scratching my head and just thought, you can't even get a crimper around that tube because they're so close to each other. They're side by side, buried in the slab. It's like, oh, this is a wonderful installation. So I got this. There's another style of, it's like these pinch ring things. I've never used them before. I think I've seen them on mobile homes. So I went out and got some pinch rings and got a pinch tool, whatever that thing is called. And we're going to try to make that thing go tomorrow and by golly get that thing done. Then finish up and then go back to work about 8 o'clock and work through the night. So I was sitting there thinking to myself, by golly, it's strange trying to get things organized. And in this world that's falling apart, as the world continues to turn my stomach, blah. As the world turns your stomach, you're expected to still do normal stuff. Go to the grocery store, pick up the eggs and butter or whatever your wife or somebody sent you for, right? Go down here, get the mail. Go over here, do these jobs, get this stuff straight. Did you put gas in the car? Stuff like that. And so life doesn't quit just because the wheels are falling off at the high and almighty side. No, I'm not almighty. I'm not going to say that word. Those who think themselves to be mighty, the talking heads and the politicians and the billionaires who are bringing on this one worldism, and it's got all kinds of crazy aspects. We've talked about a little bit the what do they call those? It's a four-letter word. It is a four-letter word. Instead of dollars, it would be digital currency, something banks, digital currencies. Anyway, that they're talking about that. They're talking about a health passport that you might need if you don't want to take certain, shall we say, concoctions into your body, which so far as I can tell, the evidence is in. The big pharma people have been covering up big time a lot of stuff they knew from early on here. And the bent needle, I mean the warped speed needle got bent on the way. That thing is, it's still kicking up dust bunnies all over the place. There's people all over the world who are still following this action. And it's going to haunt us for years to come, to be honest with you. It's a long-term deal, and it has to do with these clots in the arteries, which eventually will get up to your heart, and then adios. So you end up with 22-year-olds falling over dead with a heart attack. And the clots these guys are pulling out are just nuts. It's this kind of viscous, rubbery stuff, and looks a little bit like noodles poorly cooked. Undercooked, as a matter of fact. But anyway, the situation being with all of the monkey gunk and the crazy pants business that's happening in the world, you still got to do normal stuff, right? Got to wake up in the morning, got to maybe brush your teeth, I don't know, going to head out the door, go to work, or whatever it is you do, and you got to take care of all the details of life along the way, right? And everybody does. And so that's why people like to make schedules. That's why people like to keep regular intervals so that they can begin to kind of parse their time and make predictable choices rather than everything just being thrown up in your face all the time. And I just wanted to comment today that, in terms of the Christian good news, what is the good news with regard to a world that's falling apart on purpose, done from above by criminal psychotics, versus the real life you and I live down here, where it's do your job, pay your bills, get things done, and be on time, and whatever else. Just do the regular stuff over and over again, because you're the one holding the world together. Without people like you, this thing comes to a screeching halt. Let me tell you. And so the world is, as it's breathing on us and causing us to want to puke because of the stench of it. The reality is that so often we don't have time. We really can't consider the big, hairy, weirdo issues of the world, and the Oumuamua that might be coming back and might be an alien and might not. And what about that old Nibiru thing that keeps supposedly showing up? And it's like, hey, now wait a minute. How are you going to hide a planet? I mean, come on. How's that done? But you got all that wacky stuff. But I mean, real time stuff about is the Vatican actually in league with the devil these days? I mean, there's things coming out of there that are just crazy pants. And so at the top, at the big newsmaker level, it just looks like the world's going to hell in a handbasket fast. Down here on our end, we're trying to hold all the glues and tabs and stick them together. And by the way, sticking them together, that thing kind of blew up a little bit today, but I had a brainwave. I thought, I'll get some of those black jersey gloves so the thing can still breathe. Because see, whenever you get a wound, and if you cover it up real tight with like tape that doesn't allow air to it, it just won't heal. It doesn't heal anywhere near as fast as it would if it was exposed to air. So maybe you didn't know that, but that's Dr. Mike again. And so I wanted to have it exposed to air. So it doesn't hurt or anything, but it's one of those it's annoying because as soon as you whack it somewhere, you'll remember. Oh yeah, I did that. So when you think about all the big squirrely weirdos of the world and all the hubbub and whatnot, and then you realize that during the day you really don't have time to deal with that stuff. Nobody does. And so you make time for what really matters. You make time for your family. You make time, I hope, for church. You make time to be involved with other people and go out and meet your neighbor and stuff like that. You make time for things that are actually important, right? And then all this other stuff, all this clutter and riffraff and hubbub that is going to crash this world down and basically destroy the economy. What happens when you have a U.S. economy which doesn't have any real money? We are going to find out. And what's going to end up with is we're going to have all kinds of crazy things going on with shortages, blackouts. Who knows what's going on? 2024, she's going to be a weirdo. That's right. That's what I've been saying all along. And here it is, May. It hasn't broke into full tilt bozo yet, so maybe I'm wrong. I'd be glad to be wrong. Sign me up. Put me first on the wrong sheet. But we need to be thinking about stuff and being aware that in this world, although the church should be warning us to, learn the lessons of suffering, it's during the times of persecution that the church grows and flourishes. We should not run away from this. We should not hide and forget about that rapture stuff. You ain't getting out of here. That's what this old fart says. Up there's fart again. So maybe fart's the word for the day. Yeah, never mind. We probably won't need to go into that topic too deeply. But the thing is that when you are working and trying, and I want to just mention something. I uploaded a video before I walked out the door this morning. It was like 7:08 or 7:10 or something when I left. I looked earlier and it said when I got back it was close to 5:30 p.m. now, and it said 34% uploaded in 9 hours. How slow is this machine? So I mean the video is, I don't know, 12 minutes or something like that. So when I go to download this one, who knows, might show up next week. Maybe YouTube's got a little bit of that there warped magic stuff in their neck, choking them off here. But don't you be the one to give up hope. Don't you be the one to call it quits. When things get tough, the tough get going, or something like that. But the point is, your contribution matters. What you do and what you say and what you believe matters. And maybe the world isn't going to tell you that. Maybe your church won't tell you that. Maybe your wife won't tell you that. But God tells you that. Jesus Christ, He's ready to move into our hearts, and He's calling us. And we're to welcome Him and call Him by name. And I'll tell you what, it's real. I'll tell you what, it changed my life. I have a lot of Christian testimony things I could do, but I'm not going to wear you out with it. But just suffice to say that when the Lord found me, I was suicidal. I was 19. And even though He got me past that at that time, and you know how He did it, I'll tell you a story about that sometime. But He got me past that, and yet for like the next 15 to 18 years, probably till I was closer to 40, finally, I threw that suicide impulse out of my mind and refused to entertain it anymore. And I beat suicide 100 times, kicked it right in the ass. But it wasn't me, it was Christ in me. At the time, I didn't even know it, because you know what I used to do? God would say, what do you want? Tell me what you want. What's your desire? What's the desire of your heart? I'll tell you what the desire of my heart is. Let me out of this crazy rat hole. What are we doing down here anyway, man? This place is a dump. That's the way I used to pray. Very holy fellow, don't you think? But the thing is that was my attitude. If I can't talk straight with you, man, what good are you anyhow? If I got to use pixie posy words and all kinds of nice talk with these and thous, if that's the only way you understand stuff, get lost, man. He ain't like that. And so I told him straight up. I said, hey, man, you know what I want? I'll tell you what I want. I want to die. I want to get out of here. And one day, this is now about 10, 15 years ago, I was walking down the street, not far from here, and literally it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was walking along and suddenly clink, clinkety, clink, clink. That Bible doctrine came back. It was applied and I understood it. And I realized I have died. I've died in Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. It happened. And so he answered my prayer. I did want to die, and I did, in fact, die. And so I shucked off a huge load of junk that day when I just said, you know what? The good Lord, His plan is better. Even though I don't see the way this is going to happen, I don't understand what's going to happen in this world. I don't know. What's going to happen in my life. I don't know. Your life, don't ask me. But it doesn't matter, because the main thing is that as we're walking along, we're aware of Him, we're calling to Him, we're loving Him. He's loving us. And the important thing is that connection is the safety route. That's the highway of holiness. That's the tunnel of destiny, however you want to call it. No turns to the left, no turns to the right. No pluses, no minuses, nothing to add, nothing to subtract. It's the Bible, it's Christ, it's the Spirit, it's the Father, it's the church, it's the family. These things are forever. And so when we think about it, we got to remember, some things count right now, some things count forever. And it's hard to get that mixture right, because everybody's yelling at you, this has to be taken care of right now. Why are we fixing these pipes in your floor anyhow, mister? You never used the heat. He said he's lived there for 12 years and never turned on the radiant system. But we're fixing it. Because he wants to sell the house next year. Well, why not just come in with a Sawzall and abandon all those pipes, cut them off, cover it up, and just get rid of that junk? Say there is no radiant heat in this system. That's my solution. But anyhow, the world yells at you and makes you want to, you have to jump up and pay attention right now. Jesus isn't like that. He comes to you. He's there. He's steady. He's true. You know that what you're doing is probably wrong, and you do it anyway. And then we come to Him asking for forgiveness, and He's good enough to forgive us. But it isn't that. That's not the end of the story. He's changing us so that we begin to learn better. We begin to learn to obey and walk in the Spirit, and not be like some stubborn mule that has to be kicked in the butt every step of the way down the road. We begin to participate with Him in the new covenant, the covenant of grace, the covenant of mercy, the covenant of life. And the life is the gift. He's the one who brought it, and He's the one who guarantees it. He's the one who applied it to you. He's the one who gave you the gift of faith. He's the one who calls you, and you know it. And the thing is that nobody's better than Him, and we're in good hands. So no matter how crazy as the stomach turns people go, as for however out on a limb they want to run, it's suicide, whatever they want to do. I mean, for the community, for the world, not for individuals necessarily, but you take a look at all that stuff and you realize this can't possibly work, this scheme of theirs. But God's coming, and He's coming soon. Jesus Christ, the God who is, was, and ever shall be, the I Am, who is saving you to the uttermost. That's His name. Won't you call Him today? And the thing is, He dwells in you, and you dwell in Him. Have a good day. Bye-bye.